Let's go.
This is turning into one of the weirdest shows I've ever done. It really is.
Catch me if you can, goddammit. Catch me if you can. You hear me?
Will Noonan's so funny and I'm after him, so I guess I'm after Noonan.
You're listening to Hypothetically with Will Noonan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you are. Thank you for listening to Hypothetically with Will Noonan. That's me coming at you right now, live on Twitch, pre-recorded on a podcast. I'm doing Hypothetically with Will Noonan right now from South Boston, and I'm in my car. I'm pretty near where I live, and yeah, man, I actually recorded bits and pieces of this podcast yesterday. I was going to put it out as an episode, but it's really just a bunch of shit. I went to a bad driver force course where it's like a class that's basically like jail. They make you go. If you don't go, you'll lose your license. So I had to go to this class. Now, before you jump to any conclusions, I'm not a bad driver. It's not about accidents. It's not about speeding tickets. It's not about road rage or anything like that. I suck at paperwork. I forgot to get my registration renewed. I forgot to get my fucking inspection sticker worked on correctly, and basically fucked up my car. So that's how it goes. And if you get a couple of tickets for that, 3 tickets in 1 year for a rejection sticker like I had, you have to go take this class, and if you don't, they'll take your license away. So that answers that question. A lot of people on Twitter think I have to go to multiple classes because I went to one a couple weeks ago, but I was thrown out after a couple minutes. So anyway, I'm going to tell you the whole story now, and then I'll play you my clips that I recorded yesterday while I was actually in the class, but they're not that great, but I think you'll be able to feel like how manic and crazy and fucking bummed out I was to be there in these recordings, which I think are about 15 minutes. So to open up the podcast, I'll tell you a little bit about the day yesterday. I fucking dropped out of Twitch. Oh shit, everything's falling apart. Everything's falling apart. Alright, I'm gonna try and do this again, guys. Might pause this. Alright, I fixed it. Apologize. I know this is like a weird transition for the people who have always listened to this podcast, you know, just on iTunes or just as a podcast, and now I'm doing this Twitch stuff too, which is daunting to some people. It's scary. It's new, but trust me, it's great. I love Twitch. So if you happen to catch the podcast while I'm recording it on Twitter or something like that, you can watch and you can talk to me, actually. There's a chat room there. So anyway, I don't expect a lot of people in the chat room right now. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon, but this will be on there for people to watch if they want to. So let's get down to the motherfucking business, shall we? Let's get down to the motherfucking business. So if you're a long-time listener to the podcast, you know I've had some troubles. I've had some issues with the car and the law recently. A couple months back, more than a couple months back now, because it was snowing. I was coming back from a gig. I get pulled over. Seems mysterious. I'm not speeding or doing anything weird. I'm just driving down a snowy highway. I'm the only guy on it. I get pulled over. Cop says his plate reader picked up that my registration is expired. I'm driving around without a registration, which I didn't even know. This came as a surprise to me. I knew my inspection was fucked, but my car registration had been renewed before while my inspection sticker was fucked up. So I assumed that would happen again, but it didn't. Still growing up, still learning things. So anyway, I could have been arrested. It was scary as fuck. I did a whole podcast about it. It took days and about $1,000 to figure out how to deal with this. But the problem is that one time getting pulled over counted as 2 moving violations. So I had 2 out of the 3 moving violations I needed to have to take this forced government class, which is basically like jail/detention. So that sucked, but I was like, whatever, I'll get through this. So then about a week after that happens, it took me a while to get my inspection sticker. Had to get the check engine light turned off in my car, had to get a bunch of shit figured out. Had to find the right guy, just the right handsome devil. I don't want an ugly mechanic. He's got to be smooth in some ways. So I finally find, those kind of guys. I'm looking around, but in that week or so it took me, I got pulled over by a state trooper for having a rejection sticker on my car. And he gave me a ticket. I tried to explain to him that they had just gotten me, and I'm trying to take care of it, but he didn't give a fuck. And that's 3. So now, a couple weeks after that, I get a letter in the mail that's like, you have to take this class that's 8 hours long. 8 fucking hours long. You got to take this, or else we'll take your license away. It's bad news. You don't want your fucking license suspended, especially when you're a stand-up comedian, drive around all the time. It's fucking important to have your license, right? Oh, man. Well, Twitch just crapped out for the second time, so that's fucked. So I'm like, man, this is fucked. Because I had to take the class once 5 years ago for the exact same reason. Different car, though. Not a rich man. I don't buy these fancy-ass fucking easily inspectable cars. I buy fucking hard-to-inspect cars. My cars have some mystery to them. One more fucking time, Twitch. It's your last chance to work. I don't know if I'm out of data or something. I don't think I am. Oh, that's a fucking beautiful angle. It's fucking podcast. It's not gonna sound so good. Trying Twitch people. Oh, it's not a bad shot though with the sunroof there. Don't buy easily inspectable cars. That's my thing. So anyway, these classes fucking suck. I had to go 5 years ago. I have a stand-up joke about my time there. I say I was there for smoking weed, but the truth is I was just there for rejection stickers again. So I'm not fucking happy that I gotta go to this class. So the reason why a lot of people think that I'm going to multiple classes is because about 2 weeks ago, I went to the class. 8 a.m. I gotta get up at like 6:45, take a shower, eat some fucking breakfast, have a cup of coffee, drive there. I get there, I sit down, and it's a brutal environment. The vibe is terrible. Everyone's uptight and shitty. And it's time to sign in, and the guy's like, this dickhead fucking government worker guy is like, hey man, you're not on the list. Like it's a nightclub. I'm like, well, I should be. I should be on this fucking list. And the guy goes, well, you're not, sorry. And kicks me out. He's like, you gotta come back next time. Do your thing fucking next time, So I'm like, man, fuck you, man. No, I didn't say any of that shit. I was just like, fuck this, I'm leaving. I was actually a little bit relieved that it was just over. You know what I mean? I was fucking happy that it was done. So I get the fuck out of there. I drive home. I make another appointment for this fucking thing, which is like a week away. If I don't make it by the end of July, I'll get fucking my license suspended. So it's a whole fucking pain in the ass, and it's a money grab, and they're fucking you right up the butt every step of the way. So what ends up happening is yesterday, I finally have my little class. It's set for 8 a.m., the same place I was supposed to go to before. I double, triple check that I have the right day. And then I go down there. And then I sit down. And the vibe is a little bit better this time than it was last time. The people seem a little less shady, which was kind of true and kind of not true. But the teacher, the instructor, was a woman, and her name was, I don't even want to say her name, but she was awesome. She was really awesome. Like, no sarcasm there, no shade. Really liked this chick. She had a great way of doing this thing, and she didn't take it too seriously. She understood that everyone who was there didn't want to be there, and that they were just trying to get through this. And she was going to make it as painless as possible for everyone there. So it's kind of like jury duty, because not everyone in the class has you know, it's not all dirtbags. It's not all good people either. It's like a mix of all types of people. I was saying to my buddy, it was like one of those horror movies, like one of those cheap kind of low-budget horror movies where like 12 strangers wake up in like a basement and they don't know each other, and like there's like an English black dude who's like, we need to get out of here, you know what I mean? and like a teen girl who's just into selfies, and like, you know, all different types of people. And that's exactly kind of how it was. So maybe one of the most interesting things about this day was the people. There was a dude there who was like a cranky, he was probably my age, but he was an alcoholic, and he was getting drunker and drunker throughout the day. And this guy was like super fucking like angry about everything. Like even when they got to seatbelts, he was like, I don't like wearing seatbelts. They make me uncomfortable. Stupid. Shouldn't have to wear one. And the teacher was like, well, it is the law, but you know, you can do whatever you want to do, but you know, do you have children? He's like, yes, I do. Do you wear your seatbelt in front of your children? Yeah, I do. When they're in the car, it's a good example. But when I'm alone, I don't, because if I'm gonna go, that's how I'm gonna go. And I'm like, wow, you're macho. You're a macho man, bro. Way to take a stand on that one. I hope as you're dying in a car accident, you're thinking about how cool you are. The other thing that tipped me off that this dude was getting drunker and drunker was his face, and also the fact that at one point in the day, there was a bathroom, like a one-person bathroom, and I was waiting for him to come out. And when he came out and saw me, he jumped like a fucking mile. He was not expecting someone. And as a former day drunk myself, I was like, this dude ain't hiding it too well, and I think I know why he's probably here. There was another dude there who was there because he got in a police chase, and his story was hilarious. He was like, yo, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, okay, I'm coming out the club with my friends, you know, and like a fight broke out, man. So like the cops come over and they like spray mace on everybody, you know, like the whole crowd and shit. So I had like the mace in my eyes, and I was like, shit. So I get in my car, you know, and I'm like, I need some wind on my face. So I fucking put down the window, and I'm driving, and I got my head out the window, and I got my eyes closed, and accidentally I went through a red light and a stop sign. But you know, man, I didn't even see that shit. I didn't even know what I was doing. And then I guess the cops were chasing me, and I pulled over, and they pulled me out of the car, man, and they fucking beat me up, man. So and then the whole class was like, oh. And then even the teacher was like, yeah, it's true, the cops, they do beat people up. And you know me, if you've been listening to the podcast, I'm not the biggest fucking fan of cops lately either, but I kind of wanted to raise my hand and be like, some holes here in old Omar's story. I'm not sure if this all adds up, you know? I know getting sprayed with mace sucks dick, and they probably shouldn't have been spraying mace, but I don't know if the answer to that is to get in your car and drive quickly with your head out the window and eyes closed. Sounds like there might be some more going on here than what we're getting. But he was an alright dude. There was my partner for the day. His tables of two, and you kind of work with your partner a little bit. My partner was this dude who was there. He was on probation. He was laid back, had dreads, seemed just kind of like maybe a dude who doesn't give a fuck too much about, like, as much as I don't care about paperwork, this guy doesn't care about doing a few days in jail if he has to, or doing probation, or doing all these classes. It just seemed like, to him, like, yeah, man, this is what I gotta do to keep living the fucking wild life I live. There were these two dudes from, like, two, like, real Boston type dudes who were, they were white dudes, and one of them was, like, 40, and he was trying to get his license back after 20 years of not having it. He got a DUI 20 years ago and just said, fuck it, I'm done driving. And now he's getting a little older. He's probably drinking a little less, and he's like, fuck it, now I want to get my license back. So he's got to take the class if he wants to get his license back. There was his friend was just a regular dude who gets in a shitload of traffic incidents. So he was there. This dude fucking drove me crazy. Neither one of these guys was setting the world on fire, IQ or intelligence-wise. But one of the dudes, the older dude who was getting his license back, was just a nice, kind of sweet dude. He wasn't like the smartest guy in the world, but he was nice. The other dude, he was also nice, but he was one of those idiots who's got something to fucking say about everything or an opinion about everything. So he'd be like, the teacher would be like, when you're driving behind a car and someone hits you from the side, you're both at fault. And he'd be like, well, actually, depending on the angle that the car comes from, doesn't really mean it's your fault. And she'd be like, okay. And clearly, like, going like, I'm just trying to get through this fucking class. And he had something to say about everything like that. Even when we get off topic, like someone was talking about weight loss, and he was like, yeah, well, the best way to lose weight is to just fucking put a sock filled with garlic underneath your bed. Like, he just had some stupid old fucking wives' tale for everything. I don't know if I'm really articulating this guy, but I think later on I give you some more about him when I'm fucking in the recording from yesterday. In the recording from yesterday, I'm like pissed off, I'm like low on sleep and blood sugar, and I'm just like I was gonna put that out as just a podcast of its own, but then when I was thinking about it, I was like, nah, it's just you can't put that garbage out, Noonan. You gotta put a preamble in this week. More characters in the class. There was a girl there who was like, she was like just a fun-loving, like, I just like to speed. I just like to go fast. Oh, also, I forgot to mention the simpleton dude who was like getting his license after 20 years. He, someone stole his notebook during lunch. He had this little tiny like joke size notebook that you'd like write jokes in. For like $1.99 at CVS kind of notebook. Someone fucking stole that, but ripped out all the pages he had written on and left those and stole the rest of his notebook. I thought that was pretty funny. There was another dude there who kept trying to befriend me, who was like, he kept telling me tough guy stories about himself. Yeah, the cops pull me over. I tell them to go fuck themselves. Yeah, I don't mind. I'll tell them what's up. And if I get thrown in jail, I'll call my buddy. He's a Wayfield cop. He fucking hooks it up. I don't know if this is worth mentioning, but the dude had like the worst set of teeth. It looked like he had like shark teeth. I was like, they're coming from all angles, man. Watch out. There was a chick in there who was like on pills. She kept nodding out. I did a tweet about it, but it wasn't a joke. I thought she was staring right into my eyes for like 5 minutes. I'm like, man, this chick is just staring at me. This chick's fucking staring at me. And then I realized she was just on these fucking pills and just staring into space, and my eyeballs just happened to be in that space. So that was pretty funny. The same chick gave me a huge compliment later in the day. We were talking about... First of all, one of the things I noticed was we got a 10 a.m. lunch break. Everyone comes back from lunch break with fucking Slurpees and chips and shit from 7-Eleven. All junk, And the whole room smelled like that shitty, cheesy chip fucking mix smell. I was like, man, I haven't smelled this shit since high school. Like, a room full of people eating crap, I was like, it's been a while since... In a government building, it's just that smelly... It's a familiar and distinct... stank of fucking chips, human misery, beige paint, mixed with some like, fucking institutional green paint maybe, and government paperwork, and just the smell of humanity mixed in. And then junk food, So I noticed this smell earlier, but I was like, whatever, it's gross. I'm glad I don't eat that shitty. Not that I'm like a fucking vegan or any sort of health nut, but I don't eat that shitty. Then, later on, they did all this like mental shit with us, like all these fucking trying to teach us how to make decisions and make better decisions. And one of the examples she used was like, what about losing weight? Like, what about, like, let's say someone's trying to lose weight. What's some specific things they can do to do that, right? And so everyone in the class is like, eat less food. Take the stairs more, right? Take the stairs more is actually not a bad one, but eat less food is a little vague, right? So she's, like, trying to get an answer. I gotta admit, I kind of probably looked like teacher's pet, because, like, I was just trying to answer every question to get things moving, like, quicker. Because I knew that would help. Like, it was like when a stand-up comedian at a club or at an open mic is like, any of you guys watch TV? And no one's saying anything. I always be like, yep, I watch TV. Tell your joke. Or someone's like, anyone ever been to Florida in here? And they don't, and I'm just like, yep, been to Florida, woohoo, Florida! Just so they'll fucking keep going. It's something young comics gotta learn. I definitely did it myself. I was a fucking repeat offender. I did this shit all the time, so I'm not shitting on anyone for doing it. I did it. It took me years to learn this lesson. But if you're a comic and you're listening, don't ask the fucking question and wait for an answer. Just say it and go. You guys ever been to Florida? Man, fucking Florida. If you have to even ask. Just go into your fucking bit about Florida. You don't have to ask and get a response. I get why you do it. I did it too. You want to it's the beginnings of like starting a conversational style. But like just you're unintentionally throwing a break into your set, like a fucking little. It's like when you're driving and the person in front of you is like hitting their brake a little bit and stuttering and it's driving you crazy. You're accidentally doing that with your stand-up when you ask stupid kind of open-ended questions. The crowd freezes up. They don't know, like, should I say something right now? Is it time to talk? I thought I was listening to a guy. Yes? And it causes this thing. So she would keep asking these open-ended questions like, okay, what's something a fat person could do to try and lose some weight? And no one would say anything. And then she'd be like, come on. So I would just say something to try and get her on to the next thing, because I could tell she kind of had the vibe, too, of I just want to get through this day. So that's exactly what I did a lot, and it turned out I was right to do it because she thanked me later for doing it. So, teacher's pet, no big deal. But one of the questions was, what can a fat person do to lose weight? And everyone kind of kept saying these, like, really open-ended things, like, they could take a good long look in the mirror, they could read a book, they could walk, right? So she was like, yeah, but what's something like they could do, a change they could make, right? So I just put up my hand. I'm like, stop eating out of vending machines. Never eat out of vending machines. Dude, you would have thought I said the meaning of life. The whole class goes, whoa. And they all looked at me like, whoa, look at the fucking big brain on Brad. And the drug girl who I thought was staring at me, literally like mouth open, looks at me and goes, wow, that's like philosophical. Hand to God, that's what she said. And I was like, oh my God, that's going in the fucking podcast, man. That was so funny. There was a guy there who looked like House, like Dr. House. He was like older and dressed like kind of in that cool European casual wear. Grizzly gray beard and short cool hair, and he was cool. There was a couple of black chicks who were just like clearly just like professionals who were like pissed to be there. They were probably like lawyers or some sort of office type official job. They were dressed like that, but they were like, that's the other thing. You could tell there was, especially 4 or 5 women who were like, what the fuck am I doing here? This is not ladylike to be in this stupid room. But yeah, it was hell on earth, man. There ain't nothing right about it. No one learned jack shit. They should just fucking let you pay and get out of it. Pay your fines, pay your dues or whatever. Not make you spend all this time. Not to mention I felt really bad for some of the guys there. There were a bunch of Mexican dudes there who kept talking about how much money they were losing by not working that day. There was a bunch of I shouldn't say Mexican, they might have been like El Salvadorian or something too, but South American brothers. They were there. English dude from the black English dude was in front of me, and he was there for a fucked up reason too, because his work truck is a commercial truck and he gets tickets for parking in fucked up places, but he's like, I work in Boston, where am I supposed to park? A lot of frustration in that room, man. A lot of frustration. But like I said, the teacher was awesome. She was super cool and laid back. And one of the things she said at the top of the class was like, if you're going to do drugs or drink, just don't let me see it. Don't let me see it. The only bad thing I could say about her, which wasn't even bad, but it was sort of funny and I guess noticeable, was that every time she had to make an example or a simile or an analogy, it was always her divorce. You know, she'd be like, when the red car pulled up to the blue car in that video, it's just like my divorce. Oh man, are you guys hungry? That reminds me of my divorce. Oh, did you see that squirrel eating trash in the parking lot? Reminds me of my divorce. Every single fucking thing this lady saw or said reminded her of a divorce, which made me kind of laugh. It was like she was like a fucking SNL character. But if you're out there and you got to go to one of these classes, just suck it up and go, but or pay someone to go for you. I was thinking about doing that too. I wish I had, kind of, but at the same time, I think I got some material out of this like I did last time. But today is a new day. I got a great night's sleep last night. I'm feeling really good, so I don't want to shit on it as much as I did yesterday. But yesterday, I grabbed the recorder a couple times during the day. Once during the first break, once during lunch, I think, and once right after. And I know you guys love to hear me when I'm miserable and when I'm pissed off. So those will be included right now, right after a couple quick plugs, and then we'll get that in, and then the podcast will be over. So, this next weekend I'm going to be at the Comedy Connection in Providence, Rhode Island. Check it out. The ticket link is on their website, ricomedyconnection.com. Trying to get Twitch going. If you're on Twitch, subscribe. Follow me at Will Noonan. If you don't have Twitch yet, download it, check it out. A lot of people, old and young, are coming over to Twitch to get on the hypothetically hype train. T-shirts, all that shit, CDs, it's all at my webpage, willnoonan.com, where you can find everything. Donations have been okay. Nah, not really. But I could use the donations at all times. You can donate through Twitch or you can donate through PayPal at my website. Just go to willnoonan.com/donate or willnoonan.com/podcast. Hit the donate button. And you know what? That's enough begging for now. Really love you guys. Hope you're having an awesome summer. I don't know if this podcast will come in at an hour or just underneath an hour, but I'm going to put them out more regularly. Sorry for having a stroke there. But I'm all settled into the new place, so I'll have much more free time now that I'm not fucking doing dickhead DIY construction work all day. Trying to figure out how to make this place look nice. Shout out to my friend Paul for helping me so much with fucking painting and building a door and screwing things into other things. And don't get confused when you hear me sort of restart the podcast again in a couple seconds, because that's me yesterday at my bad driver class. Hit me up on Twitter at Will Noonan, Instagram Will Noonan the Comedian. Email me anytime, willnoonancomedy@gmail.com. And now, for your listening pleasure, I should say, here is me, miserable as fuck, at driving class yesterday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is where you are. Thank you for listening to Hypothetically with Will Noonan. That's me coming at you live right now from a Stop and Shop parking lot in West Roxbury, Boston, Massachusetts. Having a rough day today. I am doing an 8-hour state-mandated bad driver retraining course. Now, this is the second time in my life I've taken this class, had to take this class. I'm not really that bad of a driver. I don't get speeding tickets or get in accidents, but I'm not so good at the paperwork part of it. Getting my registration renewed, as you know if you listen to the podcast, getting my sticker and stuff like that. If you're a listener, you know what I'm talking about, because I was nearly arrested for this a few episodes of the podcast ago. So part of my punishment and paying my debt to society is going to this fucking class. It starts at about 8 a.m. Starts at exactly 8 a.m., but you got to get up and get here. This is my second time taking it, but this is also my third time coming to this fucking building, because I was here a couple weeks ago. I showed up. I was all ready to take the class, and the dude was like, "You're here tomorrow, not today." And I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Can I do it today instead of tomorrow?" And he was like, "Dude, you really think that's possible? Fuck you." Now, he didn't say it like that, but you know what? I think I kind of lucked out in some respects that way, because it's actually not that bad today, because we got this cool chick teacher who's a lot more laid back than that guy was, and she seems pretty cool, and I'm on a half-hour break right now. But it's not a good time. I had to get up at like 6:40 in the morning. I don't go to sleep very easily, so I couldn't fall asleep last night. And I'm probably on 4 or 5 hours sleep right now at this fucking thing. And it's not that much fun. It's not very enjoyable. If you don't know what it's like, one of these classes, it's a room full of about 25, 30 miserable fucks who all of us have different reasons for being there. Some of the guys got DUIs. Some of the people have the problem I had with the fucking rejection stickers. Some of them are speeders. One guy got in a police chase. And we kind of go around at the beginning and talk about the things that we've done. Some interesting characters in there, I'll tell you that. Some pretty interesting fucking characters. There's a dude there who won't shut the fuck up. He's one of these typical Boston know-it-all type dudes. Everything the teacher says, this guy has a fucking answer for. She's like, so open up to page 2. 2, that's the number that comes after 1 and before 3. All right, what would you do if your car was impounded? Impounded, bro, that's what they like to do, I'll tell you. Those Boston boys, they don't fuck around. This guy's got something to say about every little thing. What are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna fucking do? Definitely feels like I'm in adult detention or some kind of weird daytime jail thing, but it sucks. And if I don't do this, they will take my license away, and I need my license to be a comedian. So I gotta keep coming to these fucking things when they tell me to. This is my second one in 5 years, which is not that bad compared to like everyone else in this fucking class. When you ask around, a lot of these people have been here like 4, 5, 6 times, and some of them have to do it like 3 times in a row, like just to get their license back. So they make you take the same 8-hour fucking class 3 times in a row, like in the same week. Ugh, I feel bad for those people, but I feel bad for myself too. I'm not used to this shit anymore. You know, when you're like a kid or a high school kid or a college kid and you're sitting in chairs 6-7 hours a day listening to people, you're kind of in that mode. If you're an office worker or someone who works in an office, I guess those are exact same thing. If you're an office worker, you can tell I'm fucking barely awake. If you're one of those people, you're kind of used to sitting in an office all day and sitting down and passing time slowly. But I'm Charlie Freedom, Charlie fucking comedian. I'm used to doing what I want when I want to do it, especially during the daytime. And you know, even at night, I'm usually only at the place I'm doing the show at for a few hours. It's a very free life being a stand-up comic. A lot of freedoms. But what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna fucking do? I'm just sitting in this parking lot talking to you guys. Sorry it's been like almost 3 weeks since my last podcast, but the truth is not much is going on. I don't have a ton to report to you guys. It's summer. It's super slow. Moved into a new place. I've just been chilling. And kind of taking it easy. Not putting out a lot of podcasts. Not doing a lot of anything. Just kind of taking my runs and walks in the morning and chilling out. I've been watching The Leftovers. I've done a couple podcast appearances. I was on Cotton Southie, but really, overall, and doing some guest spots around Boston, but overall, it's been pretty easy, and I can't really complain too much about anything. But I can complain about not putting out a podcast. A few of you guys have been on Twitter emailing me, or whatever way you get at me, and letting me know you want an episode. And the worst is when people think I stopped. Someone sees me and they're like, "Did you quit doing the podcast?" I'm like, "Oh man, no, of course not. I still do the podcast, but gotta put one out every week." Mike Osborne suggested that I start a Patreon account, and maybe some people will donate to that. And then if I put out an episode once a week, that might be some motivation. Not necessarily even the money, but knowing that I owe it to people a little bit because they paid. That might make me do it more. But also when I get back into the swing of doing a shitload of comedy, which will be probably in the fall, I'll be more diligent about it. But I got some cool things coming up too. I'm gonna be at the Comedy Connection Rhode Island next weekend, July 13th and 14th, headline that club for the first time. I'm gonna be on the Anthony Cumia show a few days after that, so I'll be heading down to New York to record that. So I'm sure I'll do a podcast between now and then. So I'm working on it, but it is the summertime, and this isn't a I don't even know what paid gig. Who gives a fuck, right? But I don't know. I enjoy doing the podcast, and it's not so bad. But sometimes I get behind just trying to live my life and be a fun human being. But anyway, I got a few more of these breaks coming up, and I got the drive home and all that. So I'll report anything funny that happens in this bad driver class. But just know that I am miserable today. And I know you guys like the podcast a lot when I'm fucking miserable. So that's what's happening. I'm sitting here tolerating this motherfucking class. I kind of got to poop, but I'm afraid to because the bathroom is in the classroom. I don't know what I'm going to do in that respect. And I can barely keep my eyes open. So we'll see how this turns out. I'll be back soon. Peace. Test. All right. I'm on my lunch break right now. I'm feeling good. I'm starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. Feeling like I might get out of this class alive one day. Man, if you've ever wondered, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people. I like to think everyone's got some intelligence. I like to think everyone has some smarts down deep. They might just have to find them, do something with them. When you're in a class like this, you realize it's not true. You realize that some people are just a little fucking thick, and there's nothing. It's not their fault. It's not anyone's fault. It's just the way they were born. In this class, oh man, it's got a bunch of fucking regular people, don't get me wrong, but it's got a whole shitload of fucking people that make no sense, and they don't know what is going on from second to second. They're handing out paperwork and stuff, and it's every single thing they're handed, they're like, God, what is this? I don't know what to do with this. There's too many places, too many boxes. It's they cannot get through 4 fucking seconds of their life without being like, what? I need some help over here. Excuse me. And it's funny, I've noticed a lot of those people are the same people who seem to know everything else when they're, if you rent somebody, it's not your fault, it's their fault. And it's what? What are you fucking talking about? So it's been a pretty fucking boring time. I managed to poop. That was kind of the most exciting part of the day so far, because I had to sort of work it out where I had to go back to class a few minutes early and make that happen. Many courtesy flushes later, and everything was fine. It's definitely tough for me, man. I have not spent this kind of time sitting in a chair, sitting in a classroom in such a long time, and it's definitely reminding me how much I fucking hated and loathed school. I'm not a fucking sit in a chair, listen kind of guy, man. I'm a fucking free bird, man. I'm a fucking walk around, fucking get some blood pumping exercise kind of guy, dude. I don't mind talking and discussing, but when it's something like this that you couldn't be less interested in, and it's mundane, and they're trying to make it, they're trying to stretch it out into this 8 hours. So, they're like, all right, here's a 10 question questionnaire, and let's spend 30 minutes on this and read each question and read each answer. And it's just so boring. And Don't ever have to do this if you're a driver. But it's fucked up. You realize a lot of the reasons why people are in these classes, and it's not necessarily anything fucking that bad. A lot of the people are in there just because they fucked up, like paperwork, like I did, or because, you know, they've gotten a couple speeding tickets. But then, if you go past a certain amount of speeding tickets, it's like you just got to automatically take this class. So that's another thing a lot of people are doing. They're fucking, like, you know, they were pretty good drivers, but they had one fuck up, and then it's like, well, you're back in the class. And I'm facing that too. If I go too far past, I think in the next 2 years, if I get any sort of ticket that's not a parking ticket, I'm fucked. I'm in big trouble. And by the way, I'm driving around right now fucking doing a podcast, not being a great driver. But I am going to go to a Subway sandwich shop, I think. Get myself a sandwich. Mosley's on the Charles. I've done a show there once or twice. Now I'm across the street being a bum. But yeah, man, I'm in a little bit of jail today. I'm in fucking driver jail. Sucks a lot of dicks. There's a lot of there's some great people in the class. There's this guy who's like a fucking contractor who keeps getting tickets for having to double park when he runs into places, and he's pissed as hell. He's got like this cool like Jamaican type accent or something. He's like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm just here to try and feed my family. And then you got this other lady who like loves to drive fast. She's like the wild child of the group. She's like, I just like driving fast. I can't help myself. You know, I'm a fun driver. I just like to be fun. And it's, you know, why not? Why not make life a little more fun? And then you got the dudes who are like the fucking OxyContin lawyers who are like, well, you know, I pay this much for my fucking car insurance and this much for that, and, you know, this guy keeps trying to befriend me too. It's just, dude, and it's so much like jail in some ways, because like all the like Spanish dudes are sitting together. All the black women are sitting together. The rest of it's kind of mixed up, but I noticed like all the Spanish speaking dudes like totally fucking just glommed onto each other and got like in a group immediately, even without knowing each other. This dude though keeps trying to like befriend me, and it's like jail. I don't know why he likes me, but he keeps coming up to me and being like, yeah, man, you know, my fucking insurance is like $5 fucking grand a year because I got pulled over by a cop drunk, and I told him to go fuck himself. So, you know, he found some fucking drugs on me, and I'm looking at this kid like, yeah, man, seems like you make a lot of great decisions that land you in places like this. But anywho, I'm gonna go get myself a little lunch. Hungry. I'll be back later. Wah. Hey everybody, I'm back, I'm free, I'm finally out of this fucking class. 7 or so hours later, I'm on my way home. I've clearly learned a lot as I'm driving with one hand and recording a podcast with the other. But holy shit, what a long fucking day in the life that was, man. The class was, I gotta say, we had a great teacher though. She wasn't like a bad person at all. She gave us a lot of breaks and was very laid back. So kudos to her for that. The class was not, you know, no one was a huge asshole. There were definitely some substance abuse issues happening in the class. One dude just got drunker and drunker as the day went on. There was some reefer smoking at the lunch break I didn't partake in, which definitely had some people feeling drowsy for the second half. And then we also had some definite pill poppers in the room. Let me see, there was another guy who looked exactly like Dr. House, and he looked as annoyed to be at this thing as Dr. House. There was a German guy who was there for a bunch of speeding tickets, and a bunch of people there who had totally had their license just taken away. And you could kind of tell who those people were when the class ended, and some people got into cars and drove away, and other people were waiting for Ubers or friends to come pick them up. So here's my advice to you motherfuckers. Never find yourself in one of these classes. Pay your tickets, pay your registration, pay your inspection fees, make sure you get all that in order. if you get one speeding ticket, don't fucking barrel ass around until you get another one. Keep those things to one a year, or else you'll end up in these fucking classes, and they are brutal, they are long, and they cost like $165 or some shit. So it's really fucking awful. I don't think it really did anything for anyone other than kind of punish us. You might learn a thing or two, I guess, but most likely not. It was pretty boring. They would have been better off just showing us episodes of Canada's Worst Driver from Netflix for like 2 hours and then sending us home. But you know, it's always nice to get in there and mix with the common man, the rabble-rousel of the fucking world, a jury of my peers, you could say. All different types of people. Shout out to my seatmate, Anthony. He's on probation. We did a lot of work together today. Great dude. And what a time to be alive. So I fucking completed it. It was nearly, there was some tough moments. Felt the blood pressure going up a couple times. Felt the urge to just run out of the door and declare my freedom. But made it through. I'm proud of myself. You should be proud of me too. And yeah, this is probably a short podcast. I haven't added all these times up, but I'm sure it's not an hour. But I don't fucking care, because I spent 7 hours in a room with fluorescent lighting, bored to tears on 4 hours sleep. But now it's over, and now I'm going on with my life. More regular podcasts are coming. More regular scheduling are coming. Keep telling your friends. The more downloads I get, the more it makes me want to do it. But the downloads have been pretty good. But they always slow down in the summer, which makes me kind of go, I'll do this when I do it. But, you know, I'll get it going for you. I should have an interesting weekend next weekend in Providence. And, y'all know how it goes. You're probably not doing that much this summer either, motherfuckers. So, give me a fucking break. Nah, I don't care. It makes me kind of happy in a weird way when you guys tell me you want a podcast, because it's like, you know, means you like it and you listen. So thank you. Donate, subscribe, whatever, all that fucking shit. And remember, if no one told you they love you today, I do. And fuck driving retraining classes. Peace. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 5, 9, 6, 7. 3, 2, 1. Test. Test.